The hearings then turned to the Fraser samples that had been tested by the 4 different labs.
Dr. Nyland, I'll turn my next set of questions to the testing that you've done. I understand you've tested several batches. What were your results? Did you obtain any positive RT-PCR tests for ISAV in those samples that you tested?
Among the first 48, I had 1 positive.
In that testing, we found 2 positive samples out of 48.
We did indeed obtain ISA sequence.
There's only one lab that didn't find it, and that was the reference lab from DFO in Moncton. And, you know, it turns out they were sampling a totally different segment from everyone else who actually found the ISA virus. And you know, we've got 3 or 4 labs that are finding it, and one that's a government lab that's not. You know, you have to pause and wonder what's going on, whether they really do want to find it or not.
3 leading labs around the world, and including DFO's own lab in Nanaimo, had found ISA, and CFIA's response was to attack those labs. They went in to Dr. Kabenji's lab and tried to attack Dr. Kabenji's credibility and the credibility of his lab, and to use all of the mechanisms of government that they could do.
Any positive result is a difficult result. People don't easily accept positive results, and the automatic reaction will be try to find some way of explaining it away in some form. So yeah, that is always the case. It's always there as long as you come up with a positive result. But you know, we are so confident in our work that we just cannot sweep it under the rug. So we are continuously testing, and once we find a positive result, we report it as it is.
Dr. Kabenji had the temerity to announce positive test results, and as a result, his lab is being analyzed by you. And Mr. Stephen, I suggest to you that the federal government is going to try and take away his OIE certification as a punishment for this. I predict within the next 12 months, Canada will go after his credibility. Isn't that right?
I disagree.
11 months later, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency would attempt to strip Dr. Kabenji of his World Reference Lab status, citing results from an audit they had conducted on his lab. If Dr. Kabenji's test results are officially recognized, then BC would be internationally listed as positive for the ISA virus. But if the CFIA's attempt at suspending Dr. Kabenji's status are successful, then BC will remain listed as free of ISA, despite the numerous positive test results.
Let's say we do find ISA in BC and all of a sudden markets are closed, then there will be no trade, basically.
They won't accept the results of any other lab than the Moncton lab. They know the Moncton lab is incapable of finding it.
The results have to be confirmed through our National Reference Laboratory. And my understanding as of this date, none of those tests, and as of this date today, none of those tests have ever been confirmed from our National Reference Laboratory.
Do you think ISA is here?
Yes. Well, certainly ISA is here.
I clearly believe that there is a virus here that is very similar to ISA virus in Europe.
There have just been so many positive tests from different labs.